Nilanont, and I'm with the English as a Second Language department with Language Studies. What I'm actually going to show you today is not related to ESL directly. It can have components worked into ESL, but really this was a project for the whole school. It's called Symbols and Text. They will always have had technology. They will always have had social media platforms that are always changing. For example, Facebook. I had a conversation with somebody the other day. Facebook is actually equivalent to what we had with MySpace. It's dinosaur age. Now people are getting into more so Instagram and more so Snapchat, which is a little bit more temporary and faster moving. So what does this mean for us? It means that culture shapes our thinking, as always, and technology changes the way that we teach and learn. So we must bridge the relevancy gap. We need to speak the language and culture of our students and deliver it in a medium they can access, no matter where they are, no matter what time it is. Okay, so our mission, I got together with librarians Erica Selassie and Julie Siegel to present Symbols and Text, which would be an alternative literacy project. Our premise was going to be visual literacy, that you can read anything in the world. We want to rethink what reading is and what it can be. Definitely we want people to read more, but we want people to recognize that reading is everywhere. And every year we'll have a different theme, and this year's theme is body art, living stories on skin, and then next year's theme will be graphic novels. Theory and premise. It's based around Dr. Paulo Freire's work. He founded this thing called critical pedagogy. This is where you question the world around you. The world is a body of literature itself. You pose problems, you research possible solutions, and then you argue for change. Topical and thematic explorations of interest. So why we picked body art was it was a very provocative and socially relevant topic. You could see generational differences in perspectives. It has to do with contemporary youth culture, and also when you examine body art throughout the world, there's traditional cultural heritage. There are individual psychological perspectives, and within more traditional society, we have larger societal bias and prejudice that we need to talk about with our youth, and also to have dialogues within ourselves. For example, some forms of body art are widely accepted, whereas other forms are not. Let's see, body modification example would be braces. Having braces, you're modifying your body, you're straightening your teeth out, not only for cosmetic purposes, but for medical purposes too. And another form of body art would be makeup, and that is socially acceptable, but piercings, tattoos, in a more traditional setting generally aren't. An instructor, as a problem poser, solver, networker, visionary, creator, innovator, mediator, facilitator, dreamer, you can do anything, right? So you have a tool that can do everything, and you can have an instructor with ideas that can just be implemented and unleashed with this iPad. A lot of my work with Symbols and Text happened over the summer. And so I was working around the clock, networking through Outlook. And I was able to purchase the cellular data plan, and even without Wi-Fi, I was able to keep in touch with people and basically foster Symbols and Text support, build community networks. Because there were just too many emails, and I wasn't able to stay in the office or be at home at a computer terminal. So having that email access was very vital. Because with my iPad, I also have a keyboard set up to it, like a physical keyboard. So it almost doubled like a laptop. So this allowed me to be to fulfill a role as an interdepartmental agent. and actually also interdivisional. So I was able to, we were able to garner support from various divergent disciplines, departments, and divisions. I think that more departments and more divisions will find interest and find relevance in alternative literature, or seeing their subject matters as alternative forms of literature. I use the iPad in other ways for facilitation of face-to-face communication. When I was tabling at the library to garner students' support and faculty support, or to explain what symbols in text was, I used my iPad to show Facebook, our Facebook page. I used the iPad to solicit interest, to explain what terms like henna, branding, and scarification were. I was also able to, and my camera, I was able to take pictures and do write-ups for on-site tattoo profiles for immediate publishing to Facebook. So I took this iPad with me to a, what we call a barn burning. So there's a festival in the desert of Nevada called Burning Man. It's an art festival. It's an art and music festival. And from Burning Man, it grew a culture of what we call burners, who are dedicated to the 10 principles of Burning Man, which is based on radical self-reliance, amongst other things. And so these burners were going to set fire to a barn. It was an old barn. They needed to get rid of it. And they create art and they drum. And so I was able to be around some very creative individuals. And so I was able to take pictures and ask them the story behind their tattoos. And so we had symbols, and then we had text to accompany that on Facebook, and so it brought it all together there. And so instructors, it turns us into digital natives. Now we are becoming a part of the process, and we're getting into the community. So we're on Twitter now, we're on Facebook, and we hope to be on Instagram soon. So that's a part of us figuring out how to use social media, how to get this out there. But when it comes down to it, there's nothing quite like word of mouth. These social media platforms are great because it heightens the word of mouth over long distances, but direct word of mouth, such as face-to-face tabling, I found was very helpful too. I use my iPad to produce things for production. Camera, video, microphone, and editing. Camera with audio, incredibly clear. Our technology is amazing. I was editing with iMovie, and then I published it to YouTube. So here's a sample of our video. We get into the next phenomena, which is instructors as investigators. Possible applications for this. We can do interviews, we can model this for our students, we can archive this information, and now it's there for perpetuity. We're increasing access with ADA 508 compliance with closed captions. And closed captioning was remarkably easy to do because, thanks to Ed showing me how to use the notepad on the iPad. You can play the video on one computer and then repeat into Notepad, and then Siri will write down whatever you say, and so that really cut down my typing time. Let's see. So where did you get these?
They're actually temporary tattoos, and these particular ones are from flashbacks.
Okay, so like when I was growing up as a kid, we used to stick temporary tattoos all over the place, and that was incredibly fun. But now there's a wave of adults doing temporary tattoos. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, can you imagine that I was actually shoulder to shoulder with my friend, holding the iPad in the back of a car? It's not a cameraman holding the iPad shooting us. It's me sitting next to my friend, and I'm just holding the iPad up and just peeking over and seeing. Okay, we're in frame, too much nostril, okay. And so we were able to do this interview in the back of a car on our way to this barn burn. All those things, like people people think about it for either a short period of time or a long period of time. And for those who are more prone to just getting a tattoo on impulse, this would be a good cautionary step. Like, are you sure you want to get your girlfriend's name on your arm? Maybe wait it out for a few months and see how things are after that.
For life.
Yeah, I was teaching and I was learning, and so now this is a learning object. It's an artifact. It's there for perpetuity. It's great. Moving forward, what are we going to do moving forward? Students, staff, and the great community will drive it forward. Beyond this, the hope is that it will leave our hands and become a self-evolving phenomenon. Event attendance and recording. We're going to continue Symbols and Text in the spring. We're going to keep having events. We're going to keep recording them. And so now the library has become not just a place to store information, but a place to produce information. And so we're going to be cataloging it, digitizing it, editing it, having reels. I believe that the mass communication students are using the footage to practice editing. So it provides space for students to work with it. The student newspaper has been to our events. The PGCC radio has been to our events. So now we're hoping that this will continue to grow. Social media contributions by all. We want students, faculty, and staff, and the community to contribute to Facebook, Instagram, or whatever accounts that we have. We want to constantly be compiling and updating data. We want to have more live programming. And more than anything, we want to drive truly innovative instruction. We want to have the library kind of be, and Symbols and Text be a sort of point of inspiration for other instructors to take the ideas that we present and to basically put their spin on it.